I don't know Ross Gerber personally. I've never had a correspondence with Ross Gerber on Twitter or anywhere else. I generally like what I hear from Ross Gerber, and I'm glad that he's an ardent supporter of the entire Tesla and Elon Musk economy. However, if you have a vote as a stockholder with regard to Ross Gerber becoming a member of the board of directors of Tesla, I encourage you to vote no. So this is Randy Kirk. If this content is helpful, useful, entertaining, or in any way, other shape or form you like it, then please like, subscribe, and all that jazz. We picked up 2 more members for Patreon yesterday, so that means we're down to 4 that we need before we can, pull the lever and start the fun. What's the fun, you ask? Oh, the fun is that we're going to look at the future. We're going to think about the effect of all the Elon Musk economic activities, how that's going to affect life coming up in the latter half of this decade and into the 30s, and what that means for our economy, for worldwide economies, what it means for third world nations, and what it means for the abject poor, what it means for you and me, just regular folks. So join Patreon. It's only $5 a month, and you can be part of that discussion because it's really going to be a discussion. All right, let's get into the meat of the subject here. Ross is a fantastic supporter of everything Tesla, everything Elon Musk. He has shares in Tesla. His fund has shares in Tesla that he manages. He manages money, and he manages a fund. And in this fund, it's their number one position is Tesla, last time I checked. They are also investors in SpaceX. I believe he may also be an investor in the Boring Company, maybe even Neuralink. And then he has also made an investment in Twitter, either through his fund or personally. It doesn't really matter. But he is a clear cut. He clearly endorses the entire Elon Musk economy. And in addition to that, goes on television, on CNBC. He's an invited guest to go on these programs and to talk about Tesla, to talk about Elon. He's such an ardent supporter because he has a vita. He has a history. He has enough gravitas in the trade, in the financial trades, that he is called on as a guest on these programs. Great. Love it, Ross. Keep on doing it. We appreciate you. Great. Okay. However, now he wants to run for the board of directors. I couldn't be more against this decision if I tried. And let me just start with, I have a list here of the 10 reasons, but I'm going to mix it up here because I really think that the number one reason in my head is the way that he attacked Elon and attacked the board last fall. Now, he has this investment fund, and he invests in Tesla. He can decide to add to that fund or subtract to that fund. As the stock goes up or the stock goes down, it makes him look good or bad because it's such a heavy percentage of his fund. So he has a very close personal interest with regard to this fund that I think would interfere with his thinking if he was on the board of directors. So that would be called a conflict of interest. I think it gets in the way of any decision that he might sit on the board of directors. Now, if he wants to divest himself from the fund, he wants to no longer be a partner, if he wants to make a statement of some kind that he's not going to vote on anything that might affect the stock price. I mean, I don't see how you get out of it. Having said that, in addition, I believe that his vitriol, his anger, his statements on Twitter and potentially elsewhere that Elon Musk was, missing in action, wasn't doing his job, that if he was the CEO of Tesla, that he needed to be there full time, and that Twitter was getting in the way, and all of that. And then his statements that the board of directors was not calling him out on it, and that the board of directors was, incorrect and was acting inappropriately by not calling him out on his so-called absence from Tesla during that time. I think that was because he was being made to look bad and was feeling bad because he had lost so much money. A lot of people got emotional. because they had made so much money in the past, and now all of a sudden they were losing millions and millions of dollars. I can understand that emotion. However, that kind of emotion is not okay for the board of directors. And I think that his judgment in and attacking like that, it wasn't constructive, it was destructive, and it was wrong. And so those two reasons alone would be enough for me not to use any of my votes for Ross in his effort to become a member of the board of directors. All right, now let's go back to my list. Alexandra Mers, who's another great asset in the Twitter Tesla community. Alexandra is an expert in all things having to do with stock valuations and analysis of stocks, having worked at, I think it was Standard & Poor's. It could have been Moody's. I might have gotten confused there. But anyway, Alexandra was on my show a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about this very subject. Alexandra agrees with me that Ross should not be on the board. And her main reason, her first reason, and she did this extensive subreddit article, which I'll link. Alexandra's primary reasons seem to be that the board of directors is great. that they are, she took the one at a time, took these individuals, did the research, looked at their history, looked at their capabilities, looked at their skill sets, looked at what they'd done in business, and she came to the conclusion that every single one of them was substantially more qualified than Ross was. So right away, there becomes a major reason, a solid reason not to put Ross on the board. You'd have to take somebody off the board. Who would you take off? Which one of those individuals is not as qualified, or is Ross more qualified than any one of those people on the board? I don't see that he's more qualified. I agree with her. I went through the list. I read each of those vitas that she provided, and they all seemed good to me. The biggest exception on the list, it's hard to even make this exception, would be Elon's brother. But Elon's brother has been in every single enterprise that Elon has done. He's been involved in them. He's been side by side with them. He's been helping to build those companies over the years. He's been on the board of directors of Tesla since it started. And I don't think that anybody could claim that that Elon's brother wouldn't speak truth to power, because he's his brother. If you have a brother, if you are a brother, you get it. Okay, I don't think that's going to be an issue. So let's go on to the next one. Ross's main reason that he thinks he should be on the board is that he would represent retail investors, that the rest of the board are just generalists, and they're interested, of course. The board of directors' responsibility is to protect all investors and to make sure that the company is doing things that are going to make the company as profitable and as successful as possible as leaders. But why would Ross want to go on and only represent retail investors? That makes no sense. It's not right. It wouldn't be the reason for being on the board. If he wants to be a liaison, maybe he could make a suggestion to Elon that the board have a liaison that represents the retail investors. Maybe that would be the appropriate approach. But being on the board of directors, no, you represent all equally, not one little group, everybody. This is political. It sounds like, I'm going to become go to the Senate or the House of Representatives and represent the Democrats or the Republicans versus all the country. That's not supposed to be true either, but it happens, but not on a board of directors. Completely incorrect. Ross says that Elon doesn't have the right experience for the advertising business, but that Ross could bring that in because he hangs out with all the Hollywood boys, and he understands the advertising game, and he understands these people, and that he could be, again, kind of a go-between, kind of a helper. Incorrect. Elon's first business was all about advertising. He was setting up what could now be described as something like Yelp or the Google business profile. Very similar thing, mapping out how do you get to the local restaurant? How do you get to the local pet store? And it was exactly what you would see today in Yelp. And he was dealing with both the retailers and wholesalers and other people that needed to be on the list. And he was dealing with the newspapers and other people who needed the advertising revenue that would come from it. Yeah, I think he knows something about the advertising game. Also, he's probably one of the best marketers I've ever seen. Just look at the company, okay? Look at what's happened. Look at the sales, look at the volume, look at the increases. Anyway, that's enough said about that. I don't think that Ross is going to bring anything special, but if he is, great. Call up Elon, say, hey, Elon, would you like me to kind of be a go-between for you? I've got all these buds. I'll give them a call and we'll see if we can't get them involved more in the effort because you need help with the advertising. That'd be great. Okay, super. How about Ross says that the rest of the board won't speak truth to power. I just don't think that's true. There's no evidence of it. I'd like to see Ross bring some evidence. What is the evidence? Show me something that indicates that the board has been saying to Elon over and over and over again, you need to do X, Y, and Z, but they've been mealy-mouthed about it. They just say, hey, if. I just don't think it's happening. These are powerful people. They're not likely to be shuddering in their shoes, worried that they'll insult Elon. I just don't think that's possible. The other thing here is that while Ross has been doing all these good things, what he did last fall, I think, was damaging. So he was touting and talking about all the good he does for Tesla by going on CNBC and other programs and talking about Tesla. But what he was doing last fall, I think, was a negative. And I think that that would be another big reason why I wouldn't want him to be on the board. Let's see. I thought there was one more. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, I think the board of directors and Elon are doing great. So even his basic underlying comment was completely wrong. Oh, Elon isn't there. The company would be doing better if he was there. Oh, the board of directors is out to lunch and they're not holding Elon to account, and the company would be doing better if they were just holding him to account. Except, look at the numbers. There's no company in the world like Tesla. No company that's ever increased their sales at this rate from such a high level. No company that's ever increased their profits at these rates from such a large company, such a large cap company. Doing it in a recession, doing it at a time when it looks, when all the other automotive companies, all the legacy companies are having sales that are going down and profits that are going down. And at this point, during that time that he was talking about, Tesla got profits in 2022 that were equal to General Motors and Ford together, and are now approaching Toyota's. What's the board doing wrong, Ross? What are you going to come in and do that's going to change that and actually increase the amount of sales or increase the amount of profits that the board isn't currently doing? No, Ross, I'm sorry. You're not the guy. You're a good guy. I like most of what you say, but you're not the right guy for the board. So if you like this, you know what to do. I'm looking for just 4 more people for Patreon. And I mean, we need more than 4, but 4 just to get this new cool thing I'm going to do started. And then, hope you enjoyed what we did today. This has been Randy Kirk. Great talking to you.
Click the link below to get your paperback, Kindle, or audiobook now.